The United States just built a fighter jet that refuses to die. On the radar screen, nothing escapes for long. A single F-15EX, equipped with the AN APG-82 V.1, can detect a fighter-sized aircraft at roughly 450 kilometers. That number changes everything. Suddenly, distance isn't protection anymore. Enemy pilots, once confident in their ability to maneuver beyond visual range, find themselves being watched, tracked, and engaged from angles they cannot anticipate. The old rules of dogfighting are shifting, and this shift is deliberate, engineered into every circuit and module of the jet. Here's why that matters. Detection at such ranges forces adversaries to rethink approaches, formations, and even training routines. The threat envelope is now dramatically larger, and engagements begin well before traditional visual cues come into play. This isn't incremental, it's a strategic pivot in aerial dominance. The problem we faced was clear. Older radar systems had limitations against low observable targets, leaving pilots dependent on early warning networks that could fail. By the time an alert came through, maneuvering space might be restricted, decisions rushed, and pilots exposed. The F-15EX solved this problem with gallium nitride, or GaN, modules embedded directly into its APG-82 VBX radar variant. GaN is more efficient than the older gallium arsenide setup, producing higher power without additional draw and shedding heat more effectively. That means the array itself can be slightly larger without compromising performance, improving sensitivity against targets designed to avoid detection. Faster processors now handle multiple tracks across air-to-air, air-to-ground, and electronic warfare scenarios simultaneously. The radar becomes a force multiplier. Pilots gain first look, first shoot capability, particularly when paired with long-range missiles such as the AIM-120D or the new AIM-260. Non-stealth fighters suddenly operate from standoff distances beyond reach, engaging high-value targets before the enemy even realizes an attack is underway. Put it this way, a jet that once relied on stealth in contested airspace now delivers decisive effect without exposing its pilot. But range isn't the only advantage. Frequency agility outside the X-band enables low probability of intercept, reducing detectability by enemy sensors. When paired with the EPAW-SS defensive suite, the F-15EX survives where earlier designs might have been vulnerable. This changes force composition and planning. Commanders can assign F-35s to penetration and suppression tasks, while F-15EXs operate as missile trucks, delivering volume at ranges the enemy cannot contest effectively. That leads to a new calculus. Agility alone no longer ensures survival. Sensor fusion and standoff firepower define dominance.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
Deployment begins across multiple units, establishing a layered presence in key theaters. Each squadron equipped with these jets carries a radar suite capable of reshaping engagement envelopes. Confidence among Allied air forces rises because a non-stealth partner can now provide both screening and offensive punch. Adversaries must account for an expanded footprint of detection and engagement, adjusting doctrines and dispersal strategies. Maintenance crews experience transformation as well. GaN modules require less cooling and produce fewer heat-related failures, lowering downtime and increasing sortie rates. Diagnostics run faster, and the integrated processing suite simplifies alignment and calibration. The result? Units operate closer to full readiness for longer periods, maximizing both training and combat availability. Careers of pilots are affected in tangible ways. Training emphasizes exploiting standoff advantage and integrating radar data into multi-layered situational awareness. Missions become less about closing with the adversary and more about positioning, timing, and layered firepower execution. That's before you even consider electronic warfare integration, where the radar's ability to track multiple emitters in contested space adds an entirely new dimension to survivability. Think about the implications for adversaries. A Su-35 pilot accustomed to exploiting maneuverability finds himself tracked from ranges previously considered safe. Decisions must be made faster, missile launches timed differently, and stealth tactics reconsidered. Planners must assume that every sortie carries risk from first-look, first-shoot systems. That recalibration consumes resources, complicates readiness, and amplifies stress on operational crews. The payoff for the United States is a clear upper hand. While other nations field fighters with respectable radars, the combination of GAN modules and multi-target processing places the F-15EX at a unique intersection of endurance and survivability. Range alone isn't the story. It's how that range integrates with tracking to produce decisive engagement outcomes. Platforms that rely on older semiconductor technology cannot match the operational flexibility. Coordination with stealth fighters becomes complementary rather than redundant, extending coverage while concentrating lethal effect where it matters. The result is a force architecture that maximizes the strengths of each platform without exposing critical assets unnecessarily. That changes air power from a blunt instrument into a precise tool. Last month, flight testing confirmed the radar's ability to track multiple low-observable targets across contested zones without increased energy demand. That performance translates into pilots who can execute long-range intercepts and commanders who can plan with precision. At the same time, integration with electronic protection systems ensures survivability in dense threat environments. Consider the larger picture. Bases can extend influence without overcommitting stealth assets. Squadrons gain flexibility in mission profiles, alternating between high-intensity standoff strikes and protective screening. Maintenance personnel enjoy fewer unscheduled interventions due to GAN's heat efficiency. Sensors operate within optimal thermal envelopes, reducing the risk of degradation over time. That improves availability and reduces long-term costs. Pilots notice the difference in operational tempo, leveraging radar capabilities aggressively while remaining within safer operating limits. While older jets faltered against increasingly contested skies, this platform was designed to endure. In an era when stealth was assumed to define superiority, the F-15X rewrites the rules. It's not about invisibility alone, it's about resilience, connectivity, and leverage. Integration is the heart of this evolution. The F-15EX features the Advanced Display Core Processor 2, which fuses radar signals and electronic warfare data into a coherent operational picture. That picture is shared via Link 16 to other fighters, effectively turning a single jet into a node in a larger network. The payoff is intuitive situational awareness combined with lethal precision. F-15EX pilots no longer fly blind in complex environments. They operate with information parity against technologically sophisticated adversaries. Weapon integration complements this networking. The F-15EX carries both AIM-120D and the emerging AIM-260 missiles. Here's why that matters.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
The F-35 can detect targets without exposing itself, cueing the F-15EX to execute the engagement. That separation of detection and engagement preserves low observable assets while maximizing the utility of heavy-lift platforms. Formations become force multipliers. Where previously one jet represented a single vector of attack, the F-15EX allows coordinated strikes with minimal exposure. Out there in the Pacific and over contested skies worldwide, a jet waits silently at standoff distances that most threats cannot reach. It does not hide behind stealth alone, nor does it rely on evasion. Its presence announces control, and the numbers speak clearly. A bird capable of carrying a full complement of 22 missiles, 12 of them, AMRAAM standard. That's what changes everything. An opposing Su-35 or J-20 could scramble to engage, but by the time they know where the threat is, this jet has already positioned itself for decisive action. The result? Engagements no longer require risky closes or hope that enemy radar misses. Extended detection provides the first look advantage. That gives the pilot not just awareness, but leverage. Every missile salvo can be launched from distances matching or exceeding long-range air-to-air missiles like the AEM-120D or AEM-260. This platform becomes a chess piece that moves while its opponent only reacts. Put it this way, a non-stealth fighter traditionally vulnerable in contested airspace now commands respect because it can fight from safety. 22 missiles, coordinated with data from stealth assets like the F-35, means that even if the opponent has numerical superiority, the jet delivers first-shot advantage without risking the most valuable airframes. Pilots report confidence not because the aircraft is invincible, but because it offers options their predecessors never had. Deployment spreads across multiple strategic locations. Records confirm numbers reaching dozens of jets in operational rotation. Base assignments are not arbitrary. They position these jets where standoff advantage meets regional risk. That leads to a deterrence posture without constant overt movement. Adversaries are forced to calculate around a threat they cannot easily engage. The real question is how this changes the adversary's calculus. A Su-35 pilot considering a traditional dogfight must now account for detection before closure. The high-volume missile capability forces defensive formations to scatter. Even advanced systems like the J-20 now must factor in a high-volume, long-range engagement that waits outside the zone of risk. The payoff is that opposing forces lose tempo and initiative. Allies gain confidence too. When working alongside platforms like F-35s, the F-15EX provides a reliable node capable of transforming raw data into actionable engagement. Combined exercises confirm outcomes where prior limitations would have forced cautious approaches. This improves interoperability and demonstrates that American air power can operate at the intersection of quantity and precision. Competitors are watching. Few platforms can match a simultaneous blend of standoff range and high-volume payload. The APG-82 V-X radar's GAN technology provides not just range, but resistance to jamming. That means even sophisticated electronic warfare cannot easily negate its advantage. Flight testing confirmed system synergy. Pilots engage multiple targets across hundreds of miles, coordinating volleys without compromising aircraft positioning. What happens next? As squadrons integrate these jets, tactics evolve. Training regimens now incorporate networked cueing from allied stealth assets. The jet doesn't just sit at a distance, it becomes the centerpiece of layered air defense. Analysts calculate that operational patterns established now will define doctrines for decades. The payoff isn't only in combat, it's in deterrence. The United States just built a fighter jet that refuses to lose relevance. Its radar is a platform designed to evolve with threats, carrying the F-15EX into a future where adversaries' capabilities grow sharper every year. While legacy jets struggle to adapt, this system adapts on demand. Old radar suites once relied on fixed designs, forcing upgrades through hardware swaps that took years. That left pilots flying birds with eyes that often lagged behind emerging threats. That's why open system design matters. Modularity lets processors swap and GAN modules expand. Each adjustment doesn't demand a teardown. Pilots experience situational awareness that grows sharper with every software upgrade. Threat prioritization, long-range tracking, and electronic countermeasures operate in real time. The result? Decision cycles shrink from seconds to near-instant awareness. Scalability is the secret weapon embedded in every block upgrade. Export variants, from the F-15IA to the F-15ID, benefit from the same modular philosophy. Flight testing confirms that this isn't hypothetical. Processor swaps and GAN expansions provide measurable gains in radar range and target discrimination. The F-15EX's airframe is built for longevity, rated for 20,000 flight hours. This defines how block upgrades and radar enhancements can keep pace with new threats. Put another way, as enemy aircraft grow stealthier and hypersonic weapons proliferate, the APG-82VX can evolve alongside them without grounding the jet. This isn't an incremental advantage. It's a generational leap in planning security. Production and deployment follow this philosophy. Multiple units across the Air Force are slated to receive F-15EX jets, creating a backbone for both domestic and allied operations. Future improvements are baked into the design. Open system architecture anticipates technological leaps in AI, signal processing, and GaN material science. That means the radar can accept faster processors as they emerge. By the mid-21st century, the F-15EX could operate in an environment dominated by autonomous drones, yet remain operationally effective. That's what strategic longevity looks like. At the heart of this evolution is a design philosophy that respects both human and mechanical limits. The radar doesn't merely exist for technical brilliance. It integrates with pilot workload, operational tempo, and threat environments. AI assistance reduces cognitive burden while improving precision. Frequency agility allows adaptation to unforeseen threats without grounding fleets. That balance embodies the fighter's ultimate strategic advantage. And here's the thing. This is more than a single system upgrade. It represents a shift in how air power is conceived. Rather than accepting that sensors degrade, the Air Force built a platform with the expectation that dominance must be maintained over decades. This isn't speculation. It's embedded in procurement choices, airframe life, modular design, and export strategy. Every pilot stepping into the cockpit benefits from a layered approach that protects situational awareness. What's happening next is a long-term strategy in plain sight. The open system radar architecture ensures that as new threats emerge, the platform can evolve with minimal interruption. AI-driven threat prioritization will extend operational relevance well past 2050. This approach changes how fleets are modernized. Rather than replacing jets to match threats, upgrades continuously adapt platforms to outpace adversaries. Commanders plan with certainty, pilots operate with confidence, and maintenance crews execute with efficiency. The sum of these parts ensures that when the F-15EX enters contested airspace, it not only survives, it dominates. The United States just built a fighter jet that refuses to die. What you've seen is only the beginning. America's power is just getting started. On your screen is the next video. Click the video, it opens right away. And you'll watch US jets and technology strike even harder.